Hello, I'm Andrew Tsao. In this episode of Backstory, we're going to talk about a local and national festival and competition called the 48-Hour Film Project. We're going to speak with some of last year's filmmakers and view some of the films. Right now, we're going to meet Krk Nordenstrom, the producer of the Seattle competition. Krk, thanks for being here on Backstory.
My pleasure.
Appreciate you coming down. The 48-Hour Film Festival began in Washington, D.C. and rapidly spread nationwide, and here we are now in the 9th year of the Seattle version of it.
Yes.
And you've been involved with it from the beginning. How did you get involved in the first place?
Well, I'd heard about the 48-Hour Film Project online, and way back when I was, still freshly out of film school and was looking to do a lot of things like this, and I kept pestering Liz Langston and Mark Rupert, the founders, like, why don't we have it in Seattle? Why don't we have it in Seattle? Portland has it. Why don't we have it? And
hey, they have their own series, okay? Portlandia.
I know.
We don't have Seattlelandia yet.
Yeah.
So maybe.
So they said, well, we have a sister competition called the National Film Challenge, which goes on in October every year, and it's a 72-hour version that goes on the same weekend worldwide.
Okay.
And so I put together two teams. I put together one team, and then a bunch of people are like, oh, we want to be involved.
Were you on one of the teams?
I ended up producing both of them.
Okay.
We basically split everyone in half, and we had two teams. And one of the teams won Best Cop Detective Film. Really made a clever little film.
Yeah.
And the 48 has a Best of festival every year called Filmapalooza.
Okay.
And it's fortuitous. I'm wearing, this shirt today. In 2005, it was at Cinequest in San Jose.
Yeah.
And I bought this shirt at that festival.
So, the reason I'd stop you is because I was just going to ask you, is it an actual festival or is it a virtual festival?
No, it's an actual festival.
Okay, so people are literally physically gathering to view these 40
Yeah, Filmapalooza, I mean, there's 120 plus films screened from all over the world.
Yeah.
And this was back when it was in like 24 cities.
Yeah.
And the founders really liked, my team's film. And at the after party, everyone's a little bit loopy. And Liz said, so, what'd you think? And I said, well, it was great. I had a blast. I can't wait to do it next year. And she said, well, what would you think about running the Seattle event? And being, a little tipsy, I said, sure, why not? And I woke up in the morning and went, what did I just sign up? I'm an editor. I'm not, I'm not a producer. I'm an editor. Why am I doing this? And here we are. 9 years later, and we get...
So for you, give us an overview. 9 years later, what's changed? What's different? What's happened in that almost decade of the project?
We have more teams. We get 50 plus teams every year, and it looks like we're on track to bust the record this year and possibly go up to 65, which is huge. And other than that, it's not much has really changed. One of the things I really like about this festival is that the rules never change.
Now let's talk about that for a minute for our viewers. So the 48-Hour Film Project is not just about conceiving, producing, and posting a film in 48 hours. It also has a set of rules, some parameters, elements. Talk a little bit about those and how they came to be and how those are enforced and how those things are handed out to filmmakers.
Well, so the Mark and Liz, the founders, the entire thing was born out of an idea to just see if they could make a watchable film in 2 days. And it just spread like wildfire over the East Coast and then into Europe. And, when you're doing a timed competition like this, limitations actually become your best friend because, creative limitations and restrictions really do push you to be more creative. So that's where the idea of these limitations on top of the timed aspect come from. So the big four limitations are every team gets the same character, line of dialogue, and a prop that have to be used in the film.
Okay.
And then it's broken up by, however many screening groups we have, but there are 14 genres available.
Aha.
And then literally everyone comes down when we call their team name and they pull their name out of a top hat.
Yeah.
And then either you hear woohoo or oh.
So the
crap.
genres and the story elements are not preset. You mix them together. You don't know whether you're using chickens, a line of dialogue, whatever, in a drama or a romantic comedy.
All 50 teams get the same line of dialogue, character, and prop.
And then it's the genre.
And then
different.
there will be repeats because each screening group gets the same set of 14.
Okay.
And we do 13 teams in a group.
Right.
Because there's that last leftover genre, and usually everyone's sitting there they know the genres, and they're taking notes and going, oh, what are we going to get?
Yeah. So in terms of production equipment, are people entrepreneurially just showing up with their own gear? You can't possibly supply stuff to 60 teams.
Oh, no, we provide nothing.
And so that's interesting to talk about for a minute, because if we just think about over the last 10 years, the availability of the new technologies. I mean, I'm just thinking about the last few years, the advent of the DSLR video camera. This, of course, does expand the range of possibilities for people in a huge, huge way.
We've had stuff shot on GoPros.
iPhones,
your Android phones.
Right.
I mean, you name it.
Right.
I think we're finally at the point where I don't think I got a single standard definition film last year. It's finally everyone's finally on some.
Has anyone shot film? Ever?
Not in Seattle.
In the history of the festival.
I believe there's a team in Minneapolis.
The question is, how do you get it processed and back in 48 hours?
The whole team, worked at a telecine lab, at a film processing lab, and they could do it.
Because otherwise,
but it's rare.
Yeah.
I think it's only happened a couple of times in the history of the competition worldwide.
And the team is expected to come as a group, and is your experience that the teams have already designated amongst each other who's going to do what, who's going to focus? So you're posting, you're directing, you're my writing team, and we'll all throw in together, but we've got our sort of areas that we're going to focus on to make this happen.
If they're smart, that's what they're doing.
Right. Because otherwise, boy.
Yeah, it's what the teams that are like really successful at it really have divvied up, and they've got a writing team, they've got a director, a producer, a cinematographer. Some teams are able to do double duty just because they're super talented people, but a lot of times people get into trouble with their film because they have stretched themselves too thin.
Well, let's talk about casting, though. If you don't know, I mean, you said you're told there's going to be one character in it that's everyone's going to share, but you don't know yet the other characters because you don't know yet your story. In 48 hours, how do I, as a filmmaker, go cast my film?
Well, I throw a series of networking events every year prior to it, and it gives a chance for actors to come out and everyone to
so they
to
can
mix
start
and match.
to sort of it's like the NBA draft. You can kind of see what's out there, get a look, and then when you get your thing, you can go that and assemble the team.
Because as per another aspect of the rules is you can gather your cast, your crew, locations, props, but you can't do any story writing ahead of time.
You don't, because you give out. Like when? What's the timing of giving out the elements in relation to the shoot?
So we do the competition every year in early to mid July.
Okay.
And so it'll be on a Friday night.
Yep.
All the teams gather at about 6 o'clock. I go through a whole spiel about the rules and proper etiquette for shooting in Seattle and surrounding areas. Yeah. And then at 6:35, everyone comes up and picks their genres. And then at 6:58, I announce the other three required elements: the line of dialogue, character, and prop.
And you say 6:58 because it takes you 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And then at 7, the gates open.
Yeah. And then one fun thing happens at that point because there is a wild card genre option.
Okay. All right.
So when someone, almost invariably, someone will pick the dreaded musical or Western genre.
Yeah.
And, they have the option to take the wild card, and, they could be, doppelganger movie, time travel, and the wild card tends to be a little bit more obscure or difficult. So once you opt for the wild card, you can't go back to your original. So
you have one chance to either get a more amenable genre or go straight to hell.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the wild card could be you are making a single tracking shot film the whole time or something crazy like that, right?
You could either get your dream genre or your nightmare genre.
Right. Also over the last 10 years, talking about the change in media technology, film technology, Vimeo, YouTube, I can't even begin to LinkedIn, Google+, Facebook, the ability to post video now. The world of the way the short film is put out there is fundamentally different than when the festival started. How's that impacted the way filmmakers are responding to this project, and what happens to the material once it gets done?
Well, one of the things I find fascinating about this competition is it really is also an exercise in community building. I mean, I really go out of my way to put together events so people can meet each other and develop lifelong career-long partnerships. But also it's great because not everyone puts their stuff up on YouTube or Vimeo. Their entry up. But those that do, are available to, people from around the world, and people competing in other cities can see what Seattle's doing. We can see what Portland is doing.
Is there a central website that everyone can be driven to interconnect across the globe, or does every city have their own, or how does that work? Are you linked to each other or something?
It varies city by city, but there's 48.tv and Cinema 48.
So this would link you to the whole world of this project.
Yeah.
Okay. So this last year, something also different happened.
Yes.
A documentary was made about the 48-hour film project in Seattle.
Yes.
Where did the idea come from that? And tell us a little bit about it, because that's one of the things we're going to look at pretty soon.
Yeah, I had thought about for several years trying to follow a team or two around, but my time is just eaten up managing the event. Excuse me. And there's a team that had competed for 3 years, had done super well each year. I really loved their films.
Yeah.
And Aaron Anderson, the producer of Team Awesome, came to me and said, "Hey, we want to do something different this year." And he outlined, we want to follow 3 teams, we want to make a short documentary and play it before the screenings. And if it had been anyone else, I'd have just said,
"You're not." Yeah.
No, I don't think you can pull it off. But these guys, I knew, they're called Team Awesome for a reason.
Yeah.
They pull off amazing things. And so they followed 3 teams around, and Aaron got the film to me 20 minutes before we screened on Tuesday. So, the event ends on Sunday and we screen on Tuesday.
You were actually able to screen a documentary about the weekend at the end of the weekend.
Yeah, they turned it around in 96 hours.
We're really happy to have that here for us. So let's take a look at the documentary. What's it called? We're just going to call it the
2012 Seattle 48-hour film project documentary.
Exactly. Okay. So right now we're going to watch say it again.
The 2012 Seattle 48-hour film project documentary.
Right. And be sure to stay with us afterward, because we're going to hear more from Krk and the other filmmakers from the competition last year.
It is 6:29. Let's do this. So the way the genres work.
Excited, Jeremy?
And scared.
What are you hoping to pull?
Drama would be good. Actually, last year, I decided I'd go with whatever I drew. This year, I've got a listing of things I'll redraw if I draw.
Drama.
Drama. Drama.
We just did the 24 a month ago and we did a drama. We kind of wanted to do something funny. We're going to go with the wild card.
Your wild card genre is coming of age film.
I'm happy with it, yeah. I think it kind of leaves us wide open because we can do a lot of things with it. We can make something funny, and that's what we wanted to do, so.
We're excited. Most of our team, all except for I think one person on our team, has never done the 48-hour before, so we're a bunch of newbies.
Comedy.
So for the next hour, well, now 35 minutes according to the schedule, we brainstorm. We need to work fast tonight so that I can sleep, because I never do, and I have to direct, glide cam, and shoot tomorrow, so I need some rest.
Yeah, so I mean, I think, cheers. Oh, cheers after we win.
Story trumps all, always does, so that's what really matters. But if we don't come up with anything very good, then it doesn't matter if we're shooting on a red or a cell phone. Then I'll sketch it down.
We're doing good, dude.
Yeah, we're almost
Focused.
yeah, we're almost done. We're almost done. Polish the award. Just engrave it now.
First, like Cinderella.
Yeah.
He's like a clown that became normal for a day, and then, at midnight he turns into the
It could start gradually though, like he sneezes and then he pulls out his handkerchief and it keeps
coming
out.
Yeah.
Or
at least like seeing the shoes poking up out from under the covers.
Yeah.
Apparently, we've just decided that there's going to be a clown in our comedy. Because I have access to all of this clown stuff. My dad is a CPR clown, so we're just using our resources that we have, which I think is kind of the best plan of action.
Hey, can I borrow a chicken?
We'll give it right back.
For the movie that we're making.
We won't kill it, I swear.
I'm going to grab another.
No animals will be harmed.
I'm not sure how it would happen. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a bedroom scene.
How was your evening? What evening? Same day still.
Did you get any sleep at all?
No. Some people slept sitting in my couches, but I don't need sleep.
Hey. Hey, how's it going? Hi. How are you? This elevator actually will break if there's too many people in it.
And then we'll just be stuck in it, or?
It does some crazy stuff. Sometimes it free falls for a floor. Or like the door will break when it's opening. Yeah, people have been stuck in here for a while.
Free falls for a floor?
Yeah.
Well, it'd make a good movie. You'd have to use your camera.
It'll wake you up.
So I have just a plethora of crap, didgeridoos and saxophones, and here's, wait, those are the female chaps. This is my when I was a police officer in the Navy. That's that.
Assistant Scoutmaster.
Yeah, I was a Boy Scout. Yeah, so I threw it on there too. So this one actually.
I just wear the vest for the improv. Is that good?
I think that like your documentary will just turn into like a life story about him. You like pull him aside and he'll just say all this crazy shit to you about how he used to dive in Louisiana.
My name is Rick Walters. I'm playing an American male who has some questionable moral ethics and possibly, well, I don't want to spoil it. He's one with the ladies, let's just say that. Mm-hmm.
Came down here to unwind.
What did you have in mind?
Well, you know what they say. What other people don't know won't hurt them. You need to know what you want.
Ghetto. But we kind of need it because it's too bright out. I bet there's somebody that has a better matte box than this. Gaff taping.
Things are going all right.
Yeah.
You know, we hadn't had a chance to. I didn't scope out this location beforehand yesterday, so we didn't really know what we're coming into. I think it's an awesome bar, and it's really awesome that we have it. So we're excited about that for sure. It's just we didn't realize that we'd be shooting against windows as a backdrop, so we're trying to find a way to do day for night without having to do too much post production or anything. Just one more take. Let's just nail it.
So basically, we've been here at the office location for about 3 hours and haven't started shooting anything yet, which is a sign of perfection, just not finishing on time.
Jeremy's a little nervous, so he's working through it, though.
I got in at like 11 o'clock last night, slept for about 4 hours, and ready to see what we can make. I think we're about to see a bank heist. It's more of a coming-of-age story about a father-son relationship, how the son doesn't want to follow in his father's footsteps anymore. He doesn't want to live this life of crime. Who knows what'll happen? It's a 48-hour film festival. So
I hope. All right, let's get a freaking shot off. Ready? Let's roll audio. And camera speed. Sound speed. All right.
How's it going, Mikey? It's good. It's just I've never really drilled into a doorknob before. I don't think it's gonna work.
We have kind of a radical script, and we kind of came up with it as a group, and we were able to do that because of our comedy intuition kind of falling in line. Yeah. So I'm really excited about the group's positive energy going into it.
So I can get up there and do this part.
Oh god, that's funny. Okay.
Yeah, so we're just about to shoot the last scene. It's not the last scene we're shooting. Last scene we're shooting today, but it's the climax scene. Cool. Great, you guys. Keep it loud. Action.
I want to work at the zoo. You know what I want to do? You know what I want to do? I want to work at the zoo, Dad. I fucking do. Because you have bound this bird's wings for far too long.
So close-ups? Close-ups. Close-ups and we're out of here. I think it could be a little bit more dialed in, and I'm thinking we'll totally get there, hopefully when we're shooting it and the actors are kind of improvising. Really irresponsible to shoot it like that, I think, but I think it's close.
But there's a lot of nuances here too. Like, are we gonna repeat all these nuances from multiple angles?
Well,
Or-
that's the thing, dudes. We haven't got through it. We haven't got through it.
We'll make sure as
From
actors.
any
Every time we
angle
do
yet.
it, it's different though, from a different position. Three
Well,
times
let's
so
get
far.
through it.
But
Let's get through it, man. We got to get through it and get the coverage.
They know what they want to do.
And then we'll know. We'll have a baseline. You got to get through it once. We'll have a baseline, and we'll stick to that.
Okay.
We got to
coverage
do that
will be
and
the
quit
same, like the
changing
same.
it.
Okay. Probably need to sleep because my perspective and mental capacity is skewed.
Great. If only one comes out.
All right. Well,
Speed.
speed.
Oh, Natalie, you're looking good.
When you hold them, their head always stays in the same place.
What? That's crazy.
Yes. Okay. Good. Release the chickens.
Yep.
And tell them. Okay, if they start walking. Wait.
Oh, I'll have it by 2 o'clock.
Well,
It'll be
he
great.
He had the original cut done.
Yeah.
And then why didn't he send that to us? You know, it's like if you have the original cut done, we.
Check it, see if it looks good. It's on the desktop. Well, let's burn that one. It's 80 megabytes? That's nothing.
Once we get on this freeway, I cannot turn around.
No, keep going.
Hey, when's the tourist activity highest? Let's close down the main exit ramp to the whole city when that happens. Just close it down.
Oh, fucking cyclists, are you serious? Old assholes.
This is gonna be close. And there's less than 10 minutes left. That's the close department.
Really shining through with your third grade penmanship.
The desktop. I drag it over. It doesn't give me any indication that it's copying.
We're back with Krk Nordenstrom of the 48-Hour Film Project and Aaron Anderson, who made the documentary you just saw about the 48-Hour Film Project. Aaron, thanks for being here
nice
on
to meet you.
Backstory.
Yeah, totally.
Now, I understand, we were talking before, you competed over a multi-year period in the 48-Hour Film Project, but you made the documentary last year. What made you turn around and want to go inside out instead of outside in last year?
Yeah, you know, so we had done it 3 years prior to making the documentary, and I think Kirk might have mentioned earlier, we kind of wanted to switch it up, do something a little bit different.
Okay.
And one of the things I love about the 48-Hour Film Project is that, you know, I think it's more about the journey than it is the destination, and I thought it'd be really, really cool to sort of shed some light on like what filmmakers go through to actually make the cool products that we get to see, you know, in the screenings. So.
Now, with the amount of pressure that's on these teams, though, I want to know what it was like for them to have try to make a film in 48 hours and know they're being watched.
Yeah, no, it was it's funny because, like, you know, we were kind of all up in their grill, you know, at the start, and we're like, hey, you know, just don't don't pay attention to us. We were just
It's
here.
like
we were
Francis
just hanging out.
Coppola in Apocalypse Now when he's on the beach, like you're fighting. Don't look at the camera.
Yeah, don't look at the
just
camera.
like you're
Just-
fighting,
yeah.
and then you're just pointing the camera at them.
Totally. And but you know, the thing is, like once they got their story down and all the teams knew what they were doing, like they were in it to win it, and we just disappeared to them.
Okay.
Which is great because we got some genuine character out of it. You know, like. Little bickering here and there, a little stress, which is great because that's what it is,
right?
and so and we were really fly on the wall, and our whole point was to just kind of roll with the punches, whatever they do, we follow. So
now, and there's another aspect to this: is not only do you make the documentary, but you adhered to the time limit yourself. And Krk is saying you delivered it 20 minutes before the deadline.
Yeah.
You got to give me the last. You got to give me a blow-by-blow of, let's just say, the last 4 hours. I want to get a glimpse into that.
Well, and so our thing was like, so we just lived with these teams, through their 48-hour film project, and we wanted to kind of still be in that same environment. So we were like, okay, well, let's make a speed film competition for ourselves, a speed film doc, and so that's what we did. So the last 4 hours. We're actually just like the speed film project is like people just being like, that clip's good, but get rid of it. We gotta get rid of it. Just put this in. No, this
so wait,
one works.
are you shooting the material, downloading it, and do you have a poor hapless editor sitting there while you're shooting, being flogged and assembling while you're shooting, so you can get some kind of idea of what you have?
Yeah, so the process was really interesting. So what we did is we had an editor for each team. So we made 3 distinctly different teams.
Okay.
So there's 3 shooting teams. So we followed 3 teams. So there's 3 shooting teams, and each team had its own editor also.
Yeah.
So once the footage goes back home, the editor starts to piece together a story for each team.
Okay.
And then there was a master editor, which is me. And
You're
so,
going between the three
exactly.
editors.
So I compiled all their stuff and then stitched together a story from that type of thing.
And this is happening between what time and what time? Because you said they go back.
Yeah.
And I don't presume there's any going back for the people making. So I'm trying to figure out time-wise in this 40 hours, when's this time where you can actually look at what's going on?
So most of the footage that was dropped off was 24 hours into the competition, and then it was offloaded. In fact, I think it was the only time. It was sort of halfway through, and then at the end of it. So by the end of it, we had everything there, but everyone kind of the editors had some time to kind of like gnaw on it and like piece stuff together. But the bulk of what was happening was after the 48 hours was over, which is when our next 48 hours began.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, having been on the inside doing the films and now making a film looking from the outside, where are you going next? And I guess actually what I'm trying to do is lead us into a little conversation about Team Awesome. I think our audience needs to know a little bit about who Team Awesome is, because we know what you're capable of.
Yeah.
We want to know how to watch out for you in Seattle. What's next for Team Awesome?
So a couple pieces of that. I'll just fire off some answers. So first of all, Team Awesome is basically just sort of film collaborative. We just like to do fun projects like this, whether it's 40-hour film project or music videos or skits or whatever, that type of stuff, and just do it for fun. We do a lot of competition stuff just because it has a deadline to it.
What's the general background of the people involved?
All
walks of life, all over. How do they come
together
together to become Team Awesome?
Yeah, and so there's kind of like a small hub of us that repetitively work in these projects, and we just try and draw on people wherever we can get them, like from networking events. Like, hey, do you want to do this project? I want to do this project. Let's do this project.
So you all come together and work. So Krk said to me just before we watched the doc here, if anyone else had come to me with this idea of making the doc, I would have said you're crazy. But when I knew it was Team Awesome, I went, great. Why?
Yeah, and so, I mean, one of our big shticks, I guess, is to just, go big or go home with everything that we do.
That's true.
That's
true. Well, my first interaction with Aaron when they did their first 48, we'd never really talked before, and I get this email saying, hey, we're doing it for the first year. Is it all right if we do stop motion? And my only reply was, well, yeah, if you can get it in on time.
If you can do frame by frame in 48 hours.
And they turned in our city's first stop motion. And I just went, well, these guys are awesome.
Yeah. And like 15,000 pictures later, we had a short film.
15,000 pictures.
They actually got a rack focus across the room with a spinning fan. It was impressive.
Granted, we had never made a stop motion before, and we were like, "That sounds like fun. Let's give that a whirl."
So I bet our aspiring filmmakers would like to know, before we break, with the kind of deftness that Team Awesome wields, what's your weapon of choice?
Oh, geez. Epic is definitely, and I think that's what you mean, is sort of our weapon of choice.
Yeah.
Is really kind of off the beaten path and just going for stuff that's just big and grandiose.
Oh, I actually meant camera.
Oh, camera, weapon of choice.
I bet the young filmmakers are like,
yeah,
what is it that they choose that makes them be able to move so fast? Because you have so much experience with speed, accuracy, detail, quality, all those things. So you must have honed down into something you're particularly enamored of.
I'm a strong believer of it's not the tool, it's how you use it.
Yeah, isn't that the truth?
So, yeah, I mean, there's so many mediums that you can shoot on these days.
Right.
And shot on like everything, but yeah, it's really, because I've seen people get, we've shot shorts that are shot with cameras today that are just considered crappy, and I've gotten some amazing things with them.
What's considered crappy?
Oh, like DVXs and HV or V1Us and all that type of stuff. Yeah,
okay.
Which they're older stuff.
Which
They
in
had
their day
time.
were the top of the line. They were great.
And of course we're in an era now when we say back in the day, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
I used a DVX 100 for years and years and years. It's a great camera.
Oh, it's a great camera. Yeah. But so with your 3 units, though, what were they out with?
So we're usually using 5D like Mark IIs most of the time. So just rocking the DSLR mainly because they're just so freaking mobile and versatile and
quality.
lenses.
And
quality's great.
The post-production workflow on it is so easy
fast,
too. There's no tape. It's just file-based. Boom, 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 boom. It's really easy to get in and out and start editing.
Yeah.
And so, give us a glimpse into what you're going to be doing this year for the festival.
So we're just gonna make a normal short film.
Okay. You're gonna pick from the hat like everyone else.
Yeah.
And just go for it.
Yeah, go for it. I was just telling him that I really like the mystery card categories this year.
The wild card.
The wild card. So I know I'm half tempted to just ditch whatever I get and just go for the wild card.
Get the wild card because you're a veteran. As a matter of fact, I have to say here, because you are a veteran, I expect you to go wild card.
All right, wild card.
Right here on the show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they've done the wild card before.
So there's no excuse.
Yeah, it usually yields something way off of what you would have expected you'd do.
Great.
Because like the main categories are the basic ones. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can't
one
wait.
year they went with the wild card. They drew time travel or doppelganger movie, and they created a time travel movie that happened to have a doppelganger.
That's great. Great.
That's good. So.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
sure.
We're going to take a short break here, but stay tuned because we're going to be right back with films from last year's 48-hour film project. Welcome back. Kirk, let's talk about a couple of the films from last year that we're going to screen now. The first is a film called Derailed by Dima Levinchuk. I'm not going to say much about the content, but if you could just give us a little background on the filmmaker and anything you could help us with in that regard, it'd be nice.
Yeah, last year was Dima's second year competing.
Okay.
He won in 2011. He won like Best Special Effects, and I can't remember. He's won numerous awards in the 2 years that he's done it. And I really like Dima because he has a very odd sense of humor. It's not really dark, but there's there's
quirky and offbeat,
a little twisted.
Yeah,
and I really like it. And he's just a fantastic guy who really embraces the spirit of the competition. He's like, I want to do as much as I can with as little as I possibly can.
So the genre for Derailed is
musical or western,
and the elements are.
Last year's elements were the prop was.
The traffic cone.
The traffic cone. Right. The line of dialogue was, holy crap, did that really just happen?
Right.
And I am totally spacing.
The banker character.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I can't, we'll see it, but it's the banker character.
Worthington, it was like Ronald and Regina.
Right. Okay.
Worthington.
Okay, and so the film we're going to see entails that. And then next to that, we're going to look at a film called Attachments by Jeremy Kavner. Same thing in terms of the elements. We're talking traffic cone, we're talking holy crap, did that just happen? And we're talking the banker character again, but genre?
He got drama.
Okay.
And
is Jeremy a newcomer to the festival?
No, I mean that's actually why I asked Jeremy to be part of this and to show his film. He actually didn't win any awards last year, which is kind of a bummer. But he's been in like 5 years.
Is that right?
And the last 3 years, he's run his own team.
Okay.
But he was on a city winning team in 2009.
Okay.
and then he branched off on his own. And his first one was, he was all right. And then his second one in 2011 just hit it out of the ballpark. It's just this fantastic serial killer dark comedy.
Okay.
And Jeremy really embraces the competition. He's very enthusiastic. He's probably not going to run his own team this year because he and his significant other are having a child.
Okay.
But he may actually team up with Team Awesome just to be involved.
Just to be involved.
And not have to run a team.
Right.
So,
Well, this is what you're saying right now is also part of the thing we were talking about before, is the connections and the networking and the relationships that happen. People are able to help each other out, work with other people they meet through it, so that's fantastic. He can still be involved, even if he's not going to head up his own project. Okay, so let's take a look now at the two films, Derailed and Attachments.
Let me go! Let me go, you filthy pig! Ah, let me go! Ah, God, let me go!
Now I'm gonna ask you one last time. Are you gonna be my wife?
Hi! Reg?
Hi! You... You don't deserve her, city boy. She ain't gonna be with me. She ain't gonna be at all.
Well, now listen. Let's settle this like a couple of men folk.
Like men? I don't see any other men around here. All right. I'm a sporting man. You go ahead and draw there, sissy.
Come on, draw! Funny story.
Reg, you even got a gun?
Do I have a gun? It's right here in my pants holster. Of course but no, not to kill you. I don't have a gun.
This has got to be the worst rescue ever.
You know, I've been doing this for a while now, and I've never, ever seen a hero show up without a gun.
Now listen here, Mr. Mustachioed Western villain. Now, I got a sweet song of a deal. Let's just settle this like, man, look at this. I'm a banker, right? Because I control money. And what I can do for you is get you a sweet little deal on a whole mess of horses. Now, I don't care what you do with them. I'm not here to judge you. I want you to take that card, keep me in mind, no judgment from old Revel. You do whatever you want with them horses. Whatever you want.
You an ugly son of a bitch. Ain't even worth killing.
Man, I didn't get those done at Vistaprint for nothing.
Damn it, Reg, hurry your ass, it's coming.
Okay, babe, now don't worry, I'm gonna get you out of here in no time at all.
Hurry, Reg. Come on, I gotta get back to my stories.
I'll tell you, when all this is over, we're gonna get married, and it's gonna be beautiful, and I'm gonna tell you my feelings every night, and I'm gonna suffocate you. It's gonna be awesome. I mean, not sexually. I'm just gonna talk a lot.
Yeah, about that, Reg. You're a really good guy, a good friend. That is.
Friends? Friends? How about you fucking like me like more than a friend? Checkbox, save my life. How's that sound?
Reg, focus. Maybe you should use the knife?
Knife. Yeah, okay. It's a funny story, baby. My knife is probably right next to my gun, which is right next to me.
Do something, Reggie.
No, I got it. You wait there. Go around! Go the fuck around! There's someone here! Open that door!
What a fucking idiot.
Holy crap! Did that really just happen?
Sweet fancy Jesus! Well, welcome to the banking industry, son. Whee!
Rise and shine. I gotta go.
You have to go so soon.
I got so many things to do today.
I know. You're always busy.
I know.
I just miss you.
I know you're not happy with how little time we're spending.
Do you want to talk about it tonight?
This night's not good.
Hey, Rick. Ready to get back to the grind?
Oh, what kind of grind?
All right now.
Hello?
Hello, I'm Regina Worthington. How are you?
Oh, Miss Worthington, Charles Townsend. Will you be my account manager?
Yes, I will be. Let's take a look at your investments and I can see how we can improve them. All right?
Okay.
Okay. Follow me.
Okay.
Stop here.
So, how are things going with Richard?
I guess, I don't know. He seems like he's kind of drifting away a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, we used to talk. We used to have our futures like planned. We talked.
Yeah.
Now I don't know what he wants.
Huh.
I think there might be somebody else.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time.
You should have been upstairs 5 minutes ago. Harrelson was yelling at the head of investment banking, calling him all sorts of names. He said he was destroying the company. They even had to send in security to escort him out the building.
Holy crap. Did that really just happen?
Yeah. Can you believe it? Too much drama for me.
Yeah, huh?
That's why I came down here to unwind.
What did you have in mind?
Well, you know what they say. All work and no play.
Oh, listen. I'm pretty busy.
What others don't know won't hurt them. You need to think about what you want. I know what I want. And I'm gonna show you exactly what you've been missing.
No, I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this.
Hi, honey. How was your day?
It was an eventful one. But I'll put some old issues to bed.
And you made it home early, too. Aw.
Welcome back. We just saw Derailed by Dima Levinchuk and Attachments by Jeremy Kavner. And those were from last year's 48-hour film project. Kirk, Derailed won which award now?
It won Best Visual Effects.
And you were saying Dima has a background in visual effects from before.
Yeah, the year before, his first year doing it, he did kind of a twisted retelling of Humpty Dumpty, sniffing glue and being very...
Well, what genre was that then?
I think they got period piece or fairy tale.
Okay.
And yeah, they superimposed someone's face on an egg and had someone talking, and
Right.
you know, he's constantly sniffing glue. It was-
And Jeremy, you said has been a long-time contributor to the project.
yeah, he's done it, and he really kind of exemplifies the spirit of people who love competing in this.
Great.
So.
Thanks, Kirk. Now in studio we have the first of our filmmakers from last year's competition, Peter Fesa, whose film is A Shot at Redemption. Peter, welcome to Backstory. Thank you very much for being here.
Yeah.
So since we've been chatting a little bit with the filmmakers about the elements, tell us the elements genre that you ended up working with and how that combination came together for you as a story.
My genre was dark comedy.
Okay.
And that's one of my favorites anyway. So when I got all the elements after the competition, I got on my bike and biked it to my place and was super excited, just really happy.
So give us a glimpse into the approach. I mean, this wasn't your first film for 48
No,
Hours.
this was the fourth.
Okay,
or the
so
third,
you already
third.
had in your mind a working process that you knew you had to get going in order to make this happen. Here
Yeah.
you have the genre and the elements. What do you do first, story-wise?
Yeah, so this is the first time I've ever done anything like this myself. I've always worked with a group of people. So this time the entire group was me. You know, the camera guy, the director, the writer, the post-production, everything was just, and that was just intentional because I wanted to see what I could come up with.
What I could do, in 48 hours.
Sure, because during a competition you have a group. That night when you say, okay guys, this is what we got, you got the coffees, everybody's there, and it's a big group, everybody's excited, and then the stories start coming, the ideas. And it's a fight, but not an aggressive, mean fight. It's just a tug of war of ideas. And there's a compromise that happens. Of
course.
You sort of compromise what you see in the integrity of your vision.
Yeah.
So I said, just as something new, I'm going to do it all by myself. So I went home. It was just me. I got into my bath, lit some candles, and just started listening to Beethoven.
And tell us what piece, do you remember?
This
would be a good one for a young filmmaker.
Yeah, the actual piece that I used in the film, and see if you can guess it. It's one of my favorite Beethoven pieces. And so it wasn't necessarily intentional to use that in the film, but I listened to it, and then I went for a walk that night, and I think I saw Kirk in a car drive by, and it was real late. And I just let the pictures come to me.
Are you out just stalking the filmmakers?
He actually stalks
You
the
drive by
filmmakers.
all of them and see if they're actually working?
Got to make sure they're, adhering to proper procedure for shooting in Seattle.
Okay. Now, did you set an amount of time you would give yourself for that? Because, you got 48 hours, so how long can you sit in the bath, right?
Absolutely. So I got out of the bath, went for a walk, had the headphones on, and I just let the pictures come to me.
Yeah.
And let the story sort of unfold. And you get sort of a rough idea and a feel for it.
Yeah.
It's the feel for the thing.
Yeah.
And then I go back home, and then I start storyboarding with the music. And the music is a really important part of it.
Now, how about casting? Did you already have the actors selected? Did you then, once you came up with the story, think to yourself, how do I cast this film?
Totally. I cast all non-actors. And the main actor had never acted before in his life. And his wife was in it, basically neighbors of my mother. My mother's in the film.
Well, our audience is going to be in for a treat on this
one. Oh,
one.
yeah. And that was actually a choice that I made because, when you don't know that you're acting, you can actually live the part out and be yourself.
Yeah.
It's just when you get that idea in your head of what I need to do, that it actually gets in the way of the story and the feel for it.
I'm also going to guess that because you were there in that environment with them alone, pretty much, it's a different feel. It's more intimate. It's more relaxed. You don't have this army of people, crawling all over the place with that time pressure on them. And I think that's evident in the film, that it's very thoughtful and actually, looks like detail was very much in your mind about what was happening with the characters. As a filmmaker now, since you have done projects with a crew and with a team and approached this, and now you've done it solo, what do you carry forward from that experience now? How did that experience affect how you're going to go into working on your next projects?
Absolutely, and this is just taking from Stanley Kubrick, actually, who they would have this huge set, and it was just busy on the outside of the set, but they created parameters, and in the center was a very small crew.
Yeah.
And I really took from that. I took from that, and I think after doing this last piece, I'm going to go forward and keep doing the same thing. I have a big lighting kit that I spent thousands of dollars in equipment, and it came down to it. I had my mom holding up just a lamp.
Yeah.
And I thought that the light was actually,
it was fine.
Yeah, and I
It's
thought,
fine.
and I thought people overproduce a lot of work.
I'll tell you an anecdote. A good friend of mine, the actress Faye Masterson, was in Eyes Wide Shut, and I talked to her about the scene she played with Tom Cruise, and I said, how did you work on that? And she said, well, basically it was Tom, Stanley, and I on the soundstage for about a week. And then about 3 days in, the DP came in and stood there and watched. And we just worked alone. And then by the time we shot it, people started to filter in, but pretty much it was done in isolation. It was all about concentration.
Yeah.
Of course, Stanley has the luxury of shooting a movie for 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years.
And doing 100 takes, but you can do that in 48 hours.
Sure. And that's the thing too, is I'll get like 9 takes for a shot. And I know that it takes a lot of time out of the thing, but in post-production, when you're looking at it and you're like, man, I really feel that one shot. And a lot of the times it's the very first shot.
Yeah.
And it's overshot.
Yeah.
But it gives you a sense of confidence that brings you to the very end.
Right.
And at the end of the day, I thought I didn't have a film. I remember I was at Subway eating a sandwich. My dad's like, how did it go? I said, I'm going to try to make a film out of it, but I don't think I have anything.
And this is after day one?
This is after the first day of shooting.
Yeah.
And
so how many hours do you have left at this point when you're saying this?
Have about 8. It was at sunbreak, so it was at 9 p.m. And I have until 7 p.m. the next day.
Okay.
So I said I'm going to get an hour's sleep, and I'm going to start doing the rough cut, and I'll have enough time to do some color. And it was deliriously into the next day around 2 p.m. Where I saw the first rough cut with the sound. And I was all by myself through the whole weekend. And I remember I sat there and I stood back and I just looked. I just had little things to do after that. And I said, you know what? This is the first film that I actually liked.
Wow.
That's
a good feeling, huh?
Which is crazy because I've really, really, really enjoyed all of his films.
Yeah, but in terms of creative satisfaction, you're also saying in terms of what you went through to get it and the focus that you had, you were experiencing something of an evolution as a filmmaker.
Oh, absolutely. Right? And thank you, Kirk. I do like the other films.
Yeah.
But as the first film that emotionally and psychologically represented who I felt I was as a person.
Right.
And it took me a good 6 years to get there, of making a lot of films that I definitely, I said, is that really my taste? The films I like are like this, and I'm making these things. but it was really just an act of faith. In Kirk, and I've always said this at the screenings too, Kirk was so instrumental in the films. So it's like, if it wasn't for this guy, you know, I'd really have a lot. I'm
That's
very
great.
thankful for this guy. So,
That's
yeah.
great. Real quick before we go, you mentioned Mr. Kubrick.
Yes.
Let's hear a couple other names that are your icons that you admire.
The best film that I've ever seen was, it must be the best film I've ever seen, was actually screened here in Seattle. He played McFly in Back to the Future, and he only screens it in person. He's actually one of my very favorites.
Really?
And yeah,
really.
I was mesmerized by this man and in his act of bravery with his films.
Fantastic.
And you know, a bunch of other filmmakers.
Okay, great. Thanks for being here, Peter.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely wonderful to talk to you about.
Yeah, thank you.
Now let's have a look at Peter's film, A Shot at Redemption, and please stay tuned after because we're going to talk to a couple more filmmakers from last year's competition.
Day in and day out, I'm in total and complete misery. Holy crap, did that really just happen? Is my life coming to an end? Is it really over? My name is Reginald Worthington. For 30 years I was a banker. I live in a fantasy world. Great. Yeah. Beautiful. Yes. I never thought your mother would get sick. I think I want to secretly kill her. So what do I do now? Suffer forever alone? I love Sharon, but she's gone. Sometimes I get so lonely, I comfort myself. Then I feel ashamed and polish my gun. I would hear that bell and want to kill her. This would pass. Because at 4 o'clock every day, she would come out and water her lawn. It was her ritual. Her name was Josie, a Scottish widow for 5 years. The woman I loved. She was my only joy. I bet she felt lonely too. I was completely taken with her, but she paralyzed me with fear. Never would I in my whole life talk to a lady like that. This fear inspired my painting. This was my world, where I escape. I never felt this way about a woman before. So graceful, so sincere. And then one day, I couldn't take it anymore. Something snapped. Being alone is the worst thing in the world. I knew at that moment my life would change forever. No point in regretting it now. What's done was done. What are you afraid of? You ain't afraid of nothing. knew damn well I was scared. So as sad as it seemed, I decided to move on with my life. I had to redeem myself, face my biggest fear. I invited her to come to dinner with me and Sharon. She agreed. She came over. If you can't do it, let me know, and I'll find somebody else. Right.
Where's Sharon?
I told Sharon went out of town. I think her mother was sick. She thought that was strange. The dinner was still on. And then we sat down. But when you're desperate for love, there's no telling what you would do. She's a fantastic person, Juja. Everybody's leaving. Wait a minute. Wait. If you take nothing from this, remember, always, always tell the truth. This is much harder than it sounds. But eventually, it will bring you peace.
We'll be back in a minute to talk more with Krk Nordenstrom and more teams from the 48-Hour Film Project. Stay with us. It's a really strong film, A Shot at Redemption. Really, really strong. Tell me how it did in the competition last year.
It was a runner-up for Best in City.
Great.
So it was deemed by the judges as the second best film of the year.
And it's interesting because we heard Peter say that it was a very different film for him, and while we were hanging out before the show, you were saying some of his earlier films were equally as creative as well, because he's been involved in the past. And you mentioned one about cheese. I just wonder if you could give me the quick on that.
Oh yeah, so kind of a schlubby man, early middle age, gets up and goes through his humdrum life, says goodbye to his mom who he's living with and his daughter, and he's setting his voicemail for the day for work, and he goes, oh no, it's June 28th. And he just starts inexplicably running. And he's running, and the entire crowd is rooting for him as he comes to a fence, and he's trying to hop over it, and the crowd went wild when he gets over the fence. And then he's running in the field, and he drops down, has a heart attack, pulls through it, tears his shirt off, starts running some more, literally hits a wall, and then starts vomiting everywhere. And it just continues like this until he gets home, and he runs past his daughter, who looks at him confused, looks at his mom, who looks unaffected, goes to the refrigerator, opens it up, holds up a plate of cheese, and says, perfectly aged.
And the genre of the film was?
Coming of age film. It was brilliant.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, that's what Peter does.
Man. Now in studio we have the next of our filmmakers from last year's competition, Ashika Chan, and we're going to talk to her about her film No Harm, Am I getting this right? No harm, no foul, but I have to put a W in there for those of you just listening. No harm, no F-O-W-L. Welcome,
Yes.
Ashika, to the show.
Thank
you
you.
so much for being here. So I've been asking each of the filmmakers now about the elements that come into play. Can you just take us back to that moment when are they literally drawing it from a hat, or are you announcing it? How does it?
Last couple of years,
Okay.
my wife has a top hat.
So did you literally go up there and draw?
Yeah.
Okay, take us through that moment when you drew the genre and you knew what the elements were and what went through your mind.
Well, Brianna, my coordinator, was there with me, and I actually sent her up to go draw. And we drew comedy, which was, we were so excited because being a first-time team, you know, comedy is easy to film, and everybody loves comedy. So we were excited, and we, you know, text our team as soon as we got it, and
now you're a first-time team, but you're telling me you had already organized as a team. Tell us a little bit about that, because you obviously had a strategy going in. Did you know that from other filmmakers, or was that something instinctively you just did beforehand?
I did it instinctively, yeah. I had wanted to do the 48-hour project for a couple of years, and last year I was finally just like, I knew enough people that I was like, I'm gonna see if I can put this team together. And so, you know, I got in touch with the people that I wanted in my team, and everybody said, yeah.
Okay. So everyone was poised to go.
Yeah.
Okay, now take us through, let's say, the first third of the weekend. What happens now that you get your team together and you have your elements?
So basically we had everybody else back at the house. We text them, let them know, you know, we drew comedy. On the way back to the car, Brianna and I are like, okay, so we have 3 male actors, we have 1 female actor. These are the things that we have at our disposal. Her father is actually a seafarer clown, which is where we got all of the clown makeup and costumes and everything. And so so we were like, you know, we have this clown thing, like we could do like the whole very typical, like a girl walks into a bar scenario.
Well, we don't want to give them the whole plot, but because we're going to show it to them. But I do love the tease of there is a clown.
Yes.
Okay, and so how did you divvy up the responsibilities? Who was doing what, and what were you doing?
I picked Andrew to be the director because I had worked with him, and the way he functions is fantastic, and his vision is great. And so I kind of was like, well, if Andrew doesn't do this, I don't know if I'm going to have a team. And so he was the first person that I asked. And as soon as he said yes, I was like, perfect. So he was the director. Brianna was, she basically coordinated the whole thing. We ended up shacking up at her mother's house over on Mercer Island.
The war room is over there.
We took over that entire house. Whitney was our editor. She works as an editor. And then Dave and Scott. Scott actually had just moved to Seattle. He drove cross country from Wisconsin, had never been to Seattle, messaged me from the 48-hour Facebook page and was like, hey, can I be on your team? Or do you want to be a team?
Oh, so this is amazing. So not only are the connections happening in the room when you have these mixers and everything like that, but on the Facebook page. People are jumping on board. And you mentioned you already knew what your cast was. How did that come about?
Andrew and I had just worked with Andrew on a film called Joey Got Raped. And so 2 of the actors were from that film, and they're UW actors as well.
I was just going to plug in that School of Drama. There's quite a School of Drama UW presence in the film there.
And Andrew and I both, and Brianna are all alumni.
Fantastic.
So we had quite the UW team going.
Team Husky going on there. Okay, so now take us through the last, I don't know, 12 hours.
We actually... It was actually going.
Don't tell me it was relaxing and you had tea and you all sat around and went, what do we do for the next 6 hours?
We took naps.
These stories do occasionally happen.
Is that right?
No, it really was. We had a really great weekend, and I was actually kind of frightened because I was like, we must be doing something wrong because this is going.
This can't be right.
Entirely too smooth.
Right.
But it wasn't actually. It wasn't until the last, I think, 3 to 4 hours where things fell apart.
So there's always the moment, the dramatic moment. And how did you handle all that and what happened?
We were very tactical. What ended up happening is we had a sound person, and that ended up kind of falling apart. And so we had to edit our sound, which our editor wasn't prepared for. And so what ended up happening is we had one version that was done. but it wasn't what she wanted. So we had kind of a rough edit. And what I ended up happening is they sent me off to the drop over at the Seattle Center with that rough, and I sat there, and and she finished editing as fast as she could, and as they got closer to the drop time, they actually just hopped in the car and they drove, and she's still on her laptop. You'll actually see this in the documentary that Aaron,
in the car.
Yeah. They see like she's and they hopped out. And I met them on the corner, and we ran while she's still holding her laptop rendering. And as soon as we saw Kirk pulled out the drive, and that was it.
You got it in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's how the drop-off event is incredible because
there's just
it's
that in itself. It's like
at 7:30 in 1 second your film is late.
Yeah,
you know, one of my main clients actually does it. You know, the last couple of years, and you know, he writes me checks, and he was like 2 minutes late. I'm like, no, there's no.
I can't do that because the whole thing will fall apart.
Yeah, it's. I mean, the entire legitimacy
2 minutes.
of the entire legitimacy of the competition falls at 7:30 unless I uphold that.
Yeah.
It all just falls apart.
Right. Given that experience, and that was your first time, tell us about Ashika the filmmaker going forward.
It was such a great experience, and it gave me a lot of confidence working in a team and just doing something like this. I mean, it's enough that we're doing it again this year, so Team America will be back. The team's a little bit different, but it's got the core people in it, and I'm actually a little more nervous this year than I was last year.
Because you have standards to match now.
Yes, and I know a lot of the people competing now.
Okay.
And
great.
But I love it. Like, I feel like doing the 48-hour film project really allowed me to put a foot into the Seattle film community. And I've met a ton of people, and everybody in the film community is it is a community. You know, it's not, there's friendly competition, but everybody's always there to help each other.
Everybody's pulling for everyone else.
Yeah, and so I really feel like I'm a part of this community now that I've done this project.
Yeah. That's fantastic. Well, good luck with this year's project. Now let's have a look at Ashika's film, No Harm, No Foul. And be sure to stay tuned after, because we're going to talk to one more of the filmmakers from last year's competition.
Barkeep, 2 bourbons. That's a nice shirt.
What?
But it'd look better on my floor.
Ew.
The name's Reginald Worthington. But you can call me Reg Dog.
No,
You smell that?
I don't smell anything.
Closer.
Oh.
That's not cologne. That's the scent of my natural man musk.
Oh.
I work out. See those girls over there?
Yeah.
They're looking at you.
Why? Do I have something on my face?
They want to be you. With me. Right now. I'm a big deal. I'm an investment banker. Very wealthy. The creme de la creme, if you will. And I know you will. At least a Porsche. A Porsche.
I got it.
Let's go.
No, I don't.
I want our love stains to glisten all over my 3,000 thread count Egyptian cotton sheets.
No thanks. Look, you're really not my type.
What?
I'm looking for somebody who can make me laugh. Somebody who
Shut
doesn't
up.
take himself so
Shut up.
seriously.
You talk too much.
Oh. Holy crap. Did that really just happen?
Hi.
Hi.
You're really pretty.
Thank you.
I'm just here waiting for my friends.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay, that's not true. My friends didn't want to come out tonight. I'm here by myself.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
I don't have any friends.
That's cool. I'm here by myself too.
You're really pretty.
Thanks.
Do you want to go on a date with me and spank me like my mommy?
You know what? Let's pretend we're on a date right now. And it just ended. And now you're leaving.
Okay.
Hey, so, douchebag, what do you think you're doing talking to her? She's mine.
I'm sorry.
Come with me.
I'm so sick of being hit on by all these clowns.
What, you don't like clowns?
No.
You know, clowns are people too.
I know.
Are you clown intolerant?
No. It was just a figure of speech. I was talking about those weirdos over there.
What, are you afraid of clowns? Do I look scary to you? You think I'm gonna knock you out, take you home, and stab you with my knife?
No, I like clowns. Clowns make people laugh. They don't take themselves too seriously. I like that.
Do you like that? Gesturing for biting, scratching, pants-pissing little kids. A life of blowing up balloon animals and fighting off horny soccer moms. I just don't see the point anymore. I wanted to be a banker.
Let me get you a drink.
No. Let me get you one.
I challenge you.
Challenge me?
To a drink-off. May the best man get the girl. Barkeep, it's a drink-off. Get the cone.
I'll be right back.
Gentlemen, there's no need to fight. The lady has clearly taken an interest in me.
What? Are you serious, clown?
Dead serious.
A three-way drink-off it is.
Oh, Jesus. Oh. Shenanigans, go away. Shenanigans, go.
So Kirk, we just saw a delightful little film, No Harm, No Foul. Remind us again how it did in the competition last year.
It won its audience award for its screening group by a fairly large margin.
And this was the first film Ashiko was involved in with the project.
Yeah.
So she's got a bright future ahead of her, we think, right?
Yeah, as long as, you know, it's one of those things. keep at it. You just got to keep working.
Keep at it. Great. Now in studio we have our final filmmaker from last year's competition, Austin Nokelby, whose film is Dolaro Dolore. Welcome, Austin, to Backstory.
Absolutely.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
being here. So I have to start off our conversation with a question about that building.
Yeah.
Where, what, how, in whatever's name did that appear in your life and work so well for the film?
Yeah, so...
now, I'm not going to tell them what it is, but I want to know because I want them to be ready for what it's going to...
That was the real stroke of luck that we had was when we got together and we were talking about what do we have available to us, our producer said, oh, I know this guy who is a prop master on like Hollywood films and stuff. He's got a local prop house. Let me call him up. We called him up. He sent over set photos of, or not set, he sent over photos of just the space. We just said, take a shot of anything that you think is cool or interesting. She also said, I believe he's got a safe on the lower floor.
And
which kind of sealed the deal.
The wheels are turning now.
So we said, definitely give us a shot of the safe that you've got. And yeah, we just started looking at the photos and we got him, we had him on email going, oh, do you have this? Do you have that? Like, can this be made into that? Like, what does that space feel like? How big is it? Like, and sort of building the possibilities out of that.
Now, and what was your genre?
Dark comedy, I think.
Dark comedy, okay. And just remind us again the elements from last year.
The elements were Reginald Worthington, a banker.
That's the banker.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the line was, holy crap, did that really just happen?
Yes.
And the object was a traffic cone.
Okay, so take us through your process. First, is this the first time you've worked on it? Okay, so did you have a team assembled? Did you have a strategy going in?
We had a team. So the core team was formed out of a bunch of us worked together at a production studio. We'd worked together for years and years. It was corporate work and we wanted to do something that was cool and fun.
Yeah.
And so we said, let's do this 48. We had someone who worked with us that had been actually on Team Awesome, Jordan Lofgren. I had worked with them in years past, and I knew Jonathan, the lead who played Reginald in the film. I had been working with him for like 6 years. When I first had joined this company, he was the actor on the internal project.
Okay.
And so I had grown from sort of assistant editor all the way up to like writer director on that project with him. So we knew each other really well.
You had some sense of how to work with the people.
Yeah.
And you already knew what people were going to do when they jumped on the project. So can you just give us a glimpse into the writer's room on this project?
Yeah, the writer's room was, we had on the day, so we had sent somebody down to actually pull the genre out of the hat, and we were waiting for the text message of what it was.
Yeah.
When we got it, obviously we were quite happy.
Yeah.
Because that's our sensibilities, at least the core team. So we had a table of folks with probably 12 people sitting around it. It was me, my co-writer slash DP, our producer, our wardrobe person. Like we had our prop person over email, we had Jonathan over email, and like 3 or 4 other folks. And initially it was just an idea jam. Oh, it has to be a banker. What could the banker be doing? Is that our main character? Does it have to be our main character? How does that work? What does a traffic cone do for us? Do we have to have it like real prominent? Can it just be a Where's Waldo thing?
Right.
Which is a bad idea because I have to search for those.
Yeah, but you found it. We were worried about that.
Yeah.
And so it was just it was that idea jam kind of, and then people would just sort of fall away over the course of it as the hours went on and on. And we sort of focused in on ideas. Okay, well, we've got this place and this room and these things. Let's definitely use those. Okay, here'd be a good way to use them. And it's sort of this process of, at least for us, it felt this way. I don't know how it is for other folks, but you get so far down an idea path that it's almost like at a certain point, new ideas coming in start to be like, no.
The idea itself takes on a life, and it wants certain things to be served.
Because of the time constraints, there's not a lot of like, we can't just start from scratch at 8 p.m. or 10 p.m. or whatever and just try something new. And at a certain point, it was me and who ultimately ended up being my co-writer, it was Jordan. We just worked on this concept until we had to shoot it. We didn't. Neither of us went to sleep.
And when did you start shooting it?
I think it was like 7 or 8 o'clock that next morning.
Okay, early.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how long was the shoot?
The shoot went. I mean, it was till well after sundown when we got back.
So full day of shooting, and then we get into the post process right away.
Yes, yeah, we had a PA actually running stuff, hard drives back and forth from the
now
shoot.
you are an editor.
Yeah.
So were you shooting? I mean, strategically, how does that different from a filmmaker who doesn't edit? You know what I mean? I mean, you're used.
I think you can be more efficient.
Okay.
You can sort of. You know what an editor would want. You kind of know what a good out point feels like, what a good end point feels like. It just helps the storytelling, I think, and it helps you to not overshoot because you want to cover everything so much.
Yeah, yeah. So you're able to get in on time, and everyone's alive.
Yeah.
By the end of this, and you've been through your first last year. What has changed for you in terms of how you view storytelling in film from this experience?
So this is the first one of these. This is the first sort of film of this sort of scale of production that I've done that was completed, and that is super cool. That changes how you view the process and the possibilities that come from the process. I did a lot of student stuff in college, but none of them were of quite the scale. And then I did some sort of larger stuff that was a bit overambitious and never got completed. This was like the first time where there was an idea, we had a good team, it was executed on, and people reacted the way that we hoped that they would react in key moments. That's the thing that feels really cool.
It's interesting because we talked at the beginning of the show about how sometimes limitations and strict form is a fuel for creativity, and not just the elements, but the time literally itself gets you to the point where it's going to be there, no matter what. It's going to be there, and that creates a personal evolution for yourself as a filmmaker. That sense of discipline. Will you go back again? And
I think we'll eventually do it again. I don't know if it'll be this year. There are some other personal projects that we're going to work on, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, yeah. And relationships, new relationships that came out of the project?
Yeah,
we made friends and new people you want to work with in the future?
Yeah, so our core team was folks that I worked with before, but the whole team was like folks that they knew.
Yeah.
And, our lead actor knew some other actors and pulled them in.
Fantastic.
And just so, made a lot of new relationships out of that.
Fantastic. So let me ask you this. I asked Peter this because I was just curious about it. You work in the industry, you're obviously very close to it. Influences, filmmakers that you admire?
Lars von Trier, David Cronenberg, and Akira Kurosawa.
Now, it's funny, I'm actually glad you brought von Trier up because I just want to spend a minute talking about Dogma 95.
Yeah.
And a lot of our audience won't know what that means, but suffice to say that Lars, the great Dutch filmmaker, he conceived of this notion for a while where he experimented with incredible limitations on feature filmmaking. No artificial lighting, sound as it exists on set, costumes and props were basically what were there, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it actually ended up becoming a manifesto at that time and influencing a lot of the young filmmakers. Now he's obviously moved on from there.
He moved on almost immediately.
Yeah, almost immediately. But it was a fascinating moment in time, and I sort of see how something like the 48-hour film project in its own way is a manifesto. You know, it's about executing, it's about committing, it's about community and completing without any questions to see what comes out of it. And as we've seen today, huge things come out of it. Now let's have a look at Austin's film Dolaro Dolore, and stay tuned after because we'll talk a little more with Krk Nordenstrom, producer of the 48-hour film project for Seattle.
Il mi fottutissimo dollaro.
Holy crap. Did that really just happen?
Good afternoon. Reginald Worthington, welcome to Essentia Banking.
Nice to meet you. By the way, who was
A resume, please?
Oh.
Aaron Daniels. Well, a fine, strapping, and able young lad. Which begs the question, of course, are you willing?
Oh, absolutely.
Good. Tell me, Aaron, do you have any tattoos?
No.
Oh, afraid of needles, are we?
Oh, no. No, it's just I never...
But what would you say is the greatest threshold of unspeakable pain you could possibly endure?
What?
Aaron, I hope you understand that you've happened upon a very unique opportunity here. One that could be life-changing.
Absolutely.
Our philosophy here at Essentia is you get out what you put in. You must deposit in order to withdraw.
Of course.
Good. Could you put on the headphones to your left? Nice and tight. Now, listen carefully. How was that?
What the hell?
Well, it appears you've experienced some pain. Perhaps this isn't the job for you.
No, no. You don't understand. I need this job.
Oh. Very well, then, if you need it. Put this on. No. On your face. Okay. Now, comfortable? Well, it appears we've found your threshold. There you are!
Fuck! What the fuck does this have anything to do with banking?
Well, sir, if you are not up to the challenge, then there's the door.
No. No, my parents cut me off. I've got student loans and bills piling up and car stuff.
Say no more. I understand that this job is very important to you. So I'm going to give you one more chance. But you must promise no screaming.
I promise.
Good. Put your hands on the table. Good. Now, turn your head to the left. Good. Now, I will remind you, it is very important that you do not scream.
I want to be a team player.
Yes! Yes! You did it! You're hired! Congratulations! Come! We have work to do. Watch your head! Behind this door lies the answer to your dreams and your nightmares. It's time to make a withdrawal. Thank you for banking with Ascension.
Welcome back. Now, Kirk, we just saw Dolores Dolore, and now you can see why I wanted to tell them a little bit about the location, which is
great location.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And because a lot of this show is about the Seattle film community and connections, I want to mention the producer of Dolores Dolore, who happens to also be the producer of this show, Backstory, who's Kara Podensky. And it's amazing how small this town really is in terms of
tiny
intersections.
Tiny.
And what I'm also paying you the compliment is you guys are so responsible for making so many of these connections. It's just fantastic.
Well, you know, it's that, you know, a rising tide raises all boats mentality, you know. You know, if something good is happening here and there for everyone else,
Yeah.
it brings more visibility. And
Okay. So let's talk about how filmmakers out there can get involved in the competition. I know you're probably going to get a record number this year, but I'm going to try to increase that year by year by year now by having you tell filmmakers how they can get involved.
Yeah, the easiest way to get involved is you go to 48hourfilm.com/Seattle, and it has all the rules. I mean, our Facebook page, Twitter feed, mailing lists, and that's where you can actually register a team. Another way to really get involved is every year we pick a location and do a series of networking and boot camp events. So we've had,
and that'll be on the webpage, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
so
great.
we've had people from SAG-AFTRA come in and talk about, you know, working with SAG-AFTRA talent. Entertainment lawyers have come in. Northwest Screenwriters Guild have come in. Representatives from the mayor's office about being a good Seattle filmmaking citizen.
Yeah.
So coming to the events is really good, and hooking up with the Facebook group is also one of the better ways to really get involved and learn more about it.
Fantastic. Kirk, it's been a pleasure to have you on
My
the show.
pleasure.
It's been
Thank you very
great to
much.
learn more about it. I wish you success, and I can't wait to see more of the films coming out of the project. It's just really, really exciting stuff.
It's always, it's amazing to see that theater filled with filmmakers watching their film that they made 2 days earlier.
Amazing.
It's why I do it.
Thank you for watching Backstory. I'm Andrew Tsao, and I will see you again behind the scenes.